Hi everyone, my name is Anna Wickenheisser, and today I'll be discussing my project titled Differentiating Between ClinGen Gene Curations with Little to No Evidence, Review and Recommendations. The Clinical Genome Resource, also known as ClinGen, is an NIH-funded effort focused on identifying clinically relevant genes and variants. ClinGen utilizes a points-based framework to classify gene-disease relationships into one of 7 categories based on the quantity and quality of evidence: definitive, strong, moderate, limited, no known disease relationship, which I'll call NKDR, disputed, and refuted, as shown in Figure 1. While the top 3 categories describe genes with sufficient supportive evidence appropriate for inclusion on clinical testing panels, the bottom 4 categories describe genes with little to no evidence. The original framework provided little guidance as to when these 4 categories should be used. This study aimed to assess trends throughout curations within these classifications and use them to create clearer recommendations for when each should be utilized. To assess the overlap, 384 ClinGen curations with classifications of limited, NKDR, disputed, and refuted were reviewed. Each curation was evaluated for genetic and experimental points, number of probands and variants reported, and time elapsed without new evidence. Trends were identified among curations and used to suggest modifications to the framework. There were 227 limited, 43 NKDR, 103 disputed, and 11 refuted curations. Limited had the highest average genetic evidence points, while NKDR had the lowest. The genetic evidence point ranges of limited, disputed, and refuted all overlap, as seen in Figure 2a. The most overlap occurred between the categories of limited and disputed. However, our analysis revealed that 71% of limited curations had more than 1 point, while 81% of disputed curations had less than or equal to 1 point. Setting one genetic evidence point as a threshold between these 2 classifications would reduce the number of overlapping curations by 37.6%. Figure 2b shows the forecasted change in genetic evidence point distribution if ClinGen opts to enact the proposed threshold. Modifications to the existing framework are necessary to reduce variability across classifications. In addition to the 1-point threshold, we propose that the NKDR classification only be used when there is no available evidence of a gene-disease relationship, and that refuted curations have no scored genetic evidence. These recommended modifications can be seen in Figure 3. The findings of this study are significant because genetic testing panels are directly affected by gene-disease validity classifications. Careful selection of genes limits the finding of obscure variants that cannot be interpreted, thereby increasing the efficacy of genetic testing. Thank you.